we gotta talk. This is gonna be a rant video. No, the last couple of videos that I've been putting out have been, I guess you could say they're esoteric or whatever. That's not the point. Lately, there's been a lot of talk in regards to Diablo Immortal, in which people are decrying the game and saying loot boxes are bad. We need to get action on this and get them banned because you shouldn't need to spend this much money for the game to just compete, right? And the biggest problem that I have with that line of thinking is who's choosing to spend the money? Think about it. The person swiping or punching in and saying, yeah, I'll drop $15 on this digital thing that probably won't exist in 2 years, just so I can feel like a winner in a game. That's not Blizzard's fault. Are they scumbags for the rates that they have for it and using advertising psychology and that sort of thing to kind of entice people to spend money? Hell yeah. Is a practice scummy? Sure. However, the problem is a person swiping or inputting their password or pressing one tap buy to get gems or any kind of in-game currency to have a competitive edge. I play a number of gacha games and have for years. Fire Emblem Heroes, Fate Grand Order, Destiny Child, Crash Fever, the list goes on. There is something that people need to understand when it comes to gacha. You don't have to partake in the system to enjoy the game. If you're just free to play, you can enjoy the majority of the content. Will it be at the top of the leaderboards? No. Do you need to be at the top of leaderboards? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Most of the people complaining and crying is that they want to go on PvP and feel like a powerhouse in a game where obviously it's not designed for that because it's pay to win. In Destiny Child, I can go look at my current ranking in PvP and know that I'm not going to hit the top of the board. I'm also not willing to drop $10,000 on a game that probably won't exist in 2 years. Stop trying to abdicate your own personal responsibility by having the government come in and be your parent. I don't want them to be my parent any more so than you should. It's ridiculous. The number of people who are willing to give up their own freedom for momentary security will receive neither security or comfort. You're literally throwing away your ability to choose not to partake in something because you think it's wrong that somebody else spent $10,000. Maybe that person has $10,000 and they, for whatever reason, want to support the company. That's their choice. How dare you go out of your way to tell them they can't spend their money how they want to? You don't have the right to do that. I don't have the right to do that. I don't understand why people get so hyper focused on this thing about, oh man, some guy, he spent $10,000 in Diablo Immortal. And are you playing the game? Well, Blizzard's bad. Then don't support Blizzard. It's that simple. I haven't purchased a Blizzard game since Overwatch. And I didn't purchase any loot boxes in that game. Because when I was playing the game, I realized this game is terrible. Bad design, the updates, the virtue signaling, so much of it is just terrible. And so I don't play the game. I don't support it. Did I buy the collector's edition? Yes, because I liked the basic premise of what they had initially. Initially, the game did feel great, and I did enjoy it. But slowly, the game started turning to something that I did not enjoy. So I stopped playing it, I stopped supporting it. In the same way, people need to learn to close their wallet and walk away. You guys are too busy running around talking about, we need the government to save us from yourself. Some of you are talking about, oh, but think about the kids because it teaches gambling, and gambling's bad for kids. There's an easy solution that doesn't involve the government, right? We already have agencies that rate games. We also have tools that parents have that dictate what things the kid may have access to. The agencies can make those games with gotcha elements and slap a rating on it that pushes it above something that a kid can partake in. Say, in-game gambling with gotcha. M rating, cool. There you go, there's your classification, problem solved. Oh, but the kids can still download it. Parent controls, you morons. It's not hard. For so long, people have been handing their kids expensive gadgets and saying, entertain yourself, Johnny. And basically just throwing away their personal responsibility for their own kids. This is why we got teachers in school grooming kids and stars like Ezra Miller running around grooming kids. And y'all are saying, well, will somebody think of the children? You're their parent. It's not hard. I don't understand this. You got too many brain-dead Muppets running around asking the government to save them from themselves. It makes no sense why we still have this discussion going on today. It's not hard. The solution is simple, and it doesn't require the government to get involved. First, you change yourself. You don't let gotcha and games stop supporting games that have those mechanics. Oh, but they'll still make it. These are businesses, people. They go where the money is. The reason why a lot of these companies are now including in-game transactions and gotcha is because a lot of people are going out of their way to spend money in games, all the while complaining that this is bad and unfair and this shouldn't happen. You're the problem. I'm the problem. We are the problem. As long as we keep supporting these things and activities that are detrimental to the hobby we enjoy, it's always going to be that way. You fix the problem by stop supporting things that are detrimental to the things that you love. It's simple as that. These businesses will stop and turn around almost instantaneously when they see, oh man, our money is drying up. And if they don't, then you move on to something else. You don't have to play the new Diablo game. There's a million other Diablos out there that are better. V Uprising is a perfect example of a game that has Diablo-like elements, but is a new kind of take on that genre of game. Path of Exile exists. Like, you have options. You don't have to play that one thing. You know, a lot of people say, but I love Diablo. Then go back and play the old ones that don't have those mechanics in it. But I need a new fresh coat of paint on it. Then your problem isn't the game itself. You just want something new because you're tired of experiencing the old. And that's okay. But understand, that's part of the problem. You're willing to sacrifice and give up on your own particular morals on something simply because you want the new thing. There's lots of games that I've just tossed to the wayside that I no longer play because I feel like they have violated my own principles. I haven't bought any of the recent games on, like, I refuse to buy a lot of recent anime games on PlayStation for the simple fact that I don't know if it's going to be censored. I see censorship in a game and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. I would sooner burn my own money than support that. There's some things where, yeah, I'll play it and, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to jump in on this despite the fact that I see there's some issues here. But there are some where I just say, nope, not for me, Chief. The last 3DS Fire Emblem was a perfect example of that. I full on said, oh, you guys removed the whole mechanic? And you did all this other stuff too? Yeah, I'm not even going to touch with the 10-foot pole. Forget that. Despite the fact that a lot of people said the game was great. I'm not willing to partake in something that's that egregious. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to give up something that they love just because, oh, well, there's something negative in it. A lot of the reason why people are complaining about Diablo Immortal now is because they're unwilling to let go and acknowledge the fact that Diablo is dead. And I'm not saying that from the standpoint because I know I had the Halo Rant video, the community is a part of the problem, right? My reasoning is you don't need to talk negative about the game to exit. There's such a thing as called the silent exit. You don't need to proclaim from the rooftops that I'm done with Diablo Immortal and I'm not playing this anymore. You just ignore it and move on. And when somebody asks you, hey man, what do you think about new Diablo Immortal? I don't know. Doesn't interest me. You move on. It's that simple. Jeez, man. I'm just floored by the number of people who continuously beg the government to step in and be their dad or their mom. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I doubt I'll ever understand where people come from on that. Either way, that's about it for this video. I'm a peace out. Let me know if you think this whole take or this rant is just moronic.